Welcome to Diplomat TV. In this episode, young Ambassador Alex is visiting the Royal Embassy of Saudi Arabia. Young Ambassador Abeka experiences silence at the Monastery of the Brothers of St. John in the busy city center of The Hague. And the residence of the Tunisian ambassador opens its doors to Diplomat TV's young ambassador Nisrin. Tunisia is a North African country bordering the Mediterranean Sea and the Sahara Desert. The coastline, combined with a very strategic location, have attracted visitors and conquerors alike throughout the ages. Tunisia's highly diverse culture is a product of thousands of years of history. Tunisia has been a major crossroad of civilizations such as Phoenician and eventual Carthaginian, Roman, Byzantine, Ottoman, and French, just to name a few, have contributed to the culture of the country with varying degrees of influence. The important elements of Tunisian culture are diverse and represent a unique, mixed heritage. Tunisia's Bardo National Museum is a top attraction for tourists. A sprawling complex that houses a world-famous collection of Roman mosaics and displays the country's rich and diverse history. Unfortunately, the museum is also known because of the terrorist attack on March 18, 2015, where 23 people lost their lives. Tunisia's tourism declined drastically. Lack of income because of diminished tourism has left many people, especially the young, unemployed.
Good morning.
Hello.
Welcome. Welcome
Thank
to
you.
Tunisian residents. Welcome to Tunisia.
Thank you.
Please.
Diplomat TV's young ambassador Nisrin went to the ambassador's residence to hear more about the current situation in Tunisia.
Please have a seat.
Thank you very much. His Excellency, can you please tell us about your favorite places in Tunisia?
There are so many beautiful places, starting from the southern part of Tunisia, the island of Djerba. It's in French we call it l'île des rêves. It's the island of our dreams. It's later on I may say that Mehdiya is very beautiful. It's a small city in the middle of Tunisia. It's famous because it has one of the most beautiful beaches in the Mediterranean. You have Sousse. It's amazing. It has it's amazing city. I love the village of Sidi Bou Said. You should go there. You should see it.
So Diplomat TV, together with other journalists, went to Tunisia to see for ourselves. One of the journalists who joined us had visited Tunisia several times before. We asked him if he had any hesitations about joining the trip this time.
No moment, because I read about the precautions they made in this country, and all the security, the level of security is going up. There's strict police. So no, I didn't hesitate one moment, because I think it's a safe country. Problems you have everywhere, so I don't think it's a real problem to say I'm not going to this country. Daar zie je straks uiteindelijk de plek zoals Carthago vroeger was. Dat lag in de diepte omdat het een hele grote bekende havenstad was. It's incredible what they built in that time.
January 2011, the dictatorship has fallen down. Now we are in a startup democracy. It's not a democracy as you know it here in the Western countries, but we are learning from your experience. Our aim, our goal is to share with Europe, our major partner, the same values of democracy and human rights.
How is the relationship between Tunisia and the Netherlands in terms of economics, politics, development and cultural aspects, including tourism?
At the political level, the relation cannot be better than they are today. We were honored to receive the Dutch Prime Minister, Mr. Mark Rutte, the beginning of last December. It was an historic moment because he came not alone, he came with his two Benelux colleagues, the Prime Minister of Belgium and the Prime Minister of Luxembourg. It was a unique, I was told here by the Dutch authorities that the three Benelux PMs did never travel outside the Benelux together. It was an historic moment in our relations. Development, we have signed, when the Prime Minister Mark Rutte came to Tunisia, he has signed some agreements. Among them, the biggest agreement is called Promise. Promise will give jobs, concerns jobs, rural development and vocational training. It means giving hope, giving more jobs to the rural women, giving more opportunities to young people. About tourism, we used to have about 80,000 Dutch tourists coming every year to Tunisia to enjoy the sun and the beautiful beaches. The Netherlands is one of the few countries who still impose on Tunisia this travel ban. This travel ban has been lifted by Belgium, by Spain, by Luxembourg, by the United States. It was never imposed by Germany or by France. I think the Netherlands will follow. They are close partners. We are talking even on security matters. We are now the security situation in Tunisia is now good. Today, 1.5 years, there has been nothing in Tunisia, and let me tell you that situation in Tunisia is even more secure than many other places in the world. And the risk zero does not exist nowhere. Famous European painters, artists went to Tunisia to be inspired by the sun, by this by beautiful colors. Do you like this weather here in the Netherlands? I personally prefer being at this time of the year, preferring being in Tunisia to enjoy the sun on the beach.
We're actually doing a feature on Tunisia for the Dutch tourists, because we miss the Dutch people here. The British people, they're already coming here, but we miss the Dutch people.
We thought that Miss Tunisia was the perfect example of a young, vibrant woman who can give the opinion of the young and vibrant country that went through so much about the revolution. We went around galleries, we've seen amazing stuff here, so we are very pleased to have had this opportunity to do it with her.
Is there anything you would like to add to this interview?
Yeah, I would like to say that we have to find the phenomena of terrorism together. Terrorism has hit Stockholm, Paris, Brussels, and recently London and Manchester. We have to unify our forces to combat. United, we will win.
Thank you, Ambassador, for having us.
It was my pleasure. Thank you for coming. Most welcome.
Young Ambassador Abeka visits the Brothers of St. John on the Oude Molstraat in the city center of The Hague, where he is promised to experience silence and to learn a little bit more about the brothers in the monastery.
Hello.
Hello, good morning.
How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Are you Abeka?
Yeah, you must be Father Thomas.
Yes, I'm Father Thomas.
Oh, what's up?
Welcome.
Thank you very much.
Before we get in, I want to show you something on the street here. There are two big tiles that show some of the history. You see, this stone mentions the period of time of 150 years where the Sisters of Charity came from Tilburg here, and they came here to live their religious life, but also to help children, to build schools for the little children, and to help in hospitals, to set up hospitals. The sisters came here and left in 1988.
But when did the brotherhood came in? After 1988, or what period did you guys came in?
We came 10 years ago. We came as Brothers of St. John. We are now 6 brothers, and they were 80 sisters. So it changed a bit, but still the tradition is continuing. So this stone mentions the fact that there was a hidden church here. There was this period of time where the Catholics had to hide, and there was one of the hidden churches was here. There's one in the Oude Straat, which is still open. Our church, we can only see where it was, and we have a little picture I will show you.
That's interesting. I'm interested to know more.
There's a lot to see. It's really nice. I'll show you.
Thank you.
Oh, by the way, always when I show people the place where we are going to see, the chapel, I always ask them to be silent. So we keep silent from now on. This is in the city center of The Hague. Total silence. So this is the place where these 80 or 90 Sisters of Charity had their prayer times.
What is the significance of silence to the prayers?
In our modern times, where everything is quick, fast, and with a lot of noise, that there's something like a sanctuary in our heart, and we need silence to discover that, to discover ourselves, to discover other people, to be able to reflect. When there's too much noise, we cannot think anymore.
Wow, what a nice place. How did you become a brother?
Every brother, of course, has its own story. For me, it was very important that, I was wondering what I was going to do after school, after my final exams, and I was wondering as well what God wanted me to do. So then I went to France because our mother house is in France. And I still remember this place where I was in a chapel, and I looked around and I knew this is my place, this is where I should be, this is my family.
This is something you really discovered from childhood, because immediately after you finished your school, you went to France. Were your parents from Catholic?
My parents are Catholic, but you cannot do this because parents think it's good. It's only when you want it really yourself. Because feeling that you're at home somewhere is nice, but it needs to become a choice as well. It needs to become something, because it's for our whole life that we enter into a community. So it has to go deeper.
Wow, that is interesting. So what next are we going to discover? Since a lot of discoveries.
I would like to show you the hidden church.
Oh yeah, hidden church.
So this is the place I already mentioned. It's the place of the hidden church. And we still have a little painting from this church, which we like to use to explain what was here. And it shows how, for example, these doors, this one and that one, must have been at that side. So it was, and these walls were not there. It was a lot changed so that the sisters could have their refectory here to eat. The history of a hidden church is very important, I think, to mention today, and we like to talk about it because it's something of the history of Holland that was made, that was between Catholics and Protestants that couldn't get along very well. It is from the time of the Reformation. There was the Spanish aggressor that we wanted out, so politics and religion were mixed. And Catholics couldn't have their public services. And during centuries we had this, you can say this inner fight for tolerance. And I think it's very important to memorize it, that we weren't always that tolerant as we are now. And it's something that we shouldn't lose, and we have to be very careful so that history can help us a bit, not to fall into the same problems as we did.
Generally, what you're trying to say is that during that 17th century, there was most of the Catholics were not really allowed to do their religion duties openly.
Yes, that's true. Yeah, and that's why they had hidden churches. So this is our monastic store. Hello, Angela.
Hello, Thomas. Hello.
So we have all sorts of things in the shop, and for example, this is what we make ourselves. We have our beer, Haagse Broeder, which is a brother of the Hague.
Yeah, and the word Haagse, it has a great meaning here.
Haagse means from the Hague, and we write it with SCH, which is a bit chic. On the bottle we put kloosterbier drink je met broeders, which means beer from the monastery, you drink it with brothers. What we like is that people share this beer. That's why it's in a big bottle, not in a little bottle. A big bottle, you have to share it, you can't drink it all alone.
Yeah, thank you very much. It was really an eye-opener. The tour, the experience, and even touring the shop.
Mm-hmm. Well, you're very welcome. I was happy to show you around. We do like to have an open door for everyone who wants to come in this shop. Oh, by the way, just next door, there's a little chapel. People come there from 7 in the morning to 7 in the evening. A lot of people just come there for silence and to light a little candle.
A learning experience for me, and I'm going to enjoy the beer too.
Oh, good.
Along with my brothers.
Good. Goodbye. Thank you.
Diplomat TV's young ambassador Alex is visiting the Royal Embassy of Saudi Arabia.
And I have 3 boxes with me. They're full of questions, and I hope to find out all the answers before I leave. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Can we come in?
Yes, sure.
Thank you so much.
Extending across the northern and central Arabian Peninsula, the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia is a country that is heir to a rich history. Recently, the Saudi Minister of Education visited the Netherlands to meet his Dutch counterpart. And the Royal Embassy of Saudi Arabia recently opened a cultural office in The Hague to support Saudi students and provide a cultural exchange in the Netherlands and Belgium.
Thank you so much. Hello.
Hello, Alexander. How
Thank
are
you.
you? Nice meeting. It's a pleasure having you here.
Nice to meet you too, Your Excellency.
Not at all. Thank you.
Pleasure is all mine.
Maybe just to give you a quick review about We just passed the security, and here is the reception office for the consulate, for the visas to be issued, and documentation, authentication of papers, documents. We have the offices here, the security people is here. This small lounge is for Saudis who are coming here to, if they need any kind of assistance. Now we have to go up and see what's upstairs.
Okay, super excited.
This is the meeting room. Maybe just to take a glimpse of it. Okay.
Oh.
Yeah. The secretary here, and my assistant office is right there. The consulate is downstairs, and all the people who are running the show are upstairs.
Let's go to the questions.
Please.
The big
go ahead.
questions.
Yes, let's go. Please.
Thank you so much for inviting us here. We have 3 boxes full of questions for you, and I hope that I'm going to get a couple of good answers. First box has a couple of personal questions. The second one has more serious job-related questions. And the third one is a fast talk, which you have to reply very rapidly, the first thing that comes to your mind. Why did you want to become a diplomat?
Maybe it's my interest. When I went to the United States, I went to study business administration. And while I was there, I think I got much interested in politics and all the media that you can see in the United States. So I shifted my studies from studying business administration to political science. So I think it was my own interest.
Okay.
And till now. It's a lot of headache, but it's quite interesting.
Hopefully we can find out something about what is your favorite cuisine?
Oh, it's very difficult. I always miss my mother's traditional cuisine, especially here in the Netherlands, and I'm away from her.
Thank you, and I'm sorry for the question, especially now whilst you're fasting.
It's okay, thank you.
Maybe we can get some more important questions that I'll
Yes,
pick one
please.
from here. What are the main challenges you have to expect to face in your profession?
Well, you can expect anything because I think you are already prepared to expect the difficulties. They are there, but I think we are all equipped with all the resources, even we are mentally prepared to tackle these difficulties. So the most difficult thing is once you see killing of people, this is the most difficult thing. As I always say that taking the life of innocent people is something that is unrepairable. You cannot, retrieve it back. I mean, you can have so many beliefs, but it's how you act to these beliefs, how you perform them. So it could be, as you said, an Orthodox, as a Christian, as a Jew, as Muslim, or as another religion. But the most important thing is the actions, it's not the belief itself. I think you should not take your belief to the extent of killing other people and, harming others. This is the dangerous part, and this is not only as Muslims, that it goes for any ideology. We have seen so many terrorist organizations in the past and still exist. You can believe whatever you want to believe, but you shouldn't take this to the extent of harming other people by killing or bombing.
The Minister of Education of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, Dr. Ahmed bin Mohammed Al Isa, he recently had a meeting with the Dutch Minister of Education. What can you tell us about this meeting?
I think the two ministers talked about the Saudi students here and the residency permits for the male guardians, also some exchange programs. Another program that has been developed in Saudi Arabia is that we have more teachers, Saudi teachers, coming to training here in the Netherlands. The one issue that was raised, which was, I think, most important, was the Dutch students who are who are studying in Saudi Arabia or going to study in Saudi Arabia or even coming back when they finish school in Saudi Arabia. And we heard that in the media and some others that these students, when they come back from Saudi Arabia, they are being radicalized. So we have discussed this with the minister, and we were very open, and we said we are willing to sign a memorandum of understanding to arrange these issues, and we are very transparent. So we are willing to cooperate fully with the Dutch government in this issue, because we think there are some exaggeration in this matter, because we have seen hundreds of thousands of non-Saudis who come to Saudi Arabia for over 50 years, and they go back to their countries, and the extremism or radicalization is something that we will not tolerate this. If it's true, then we will not tolerate it, but we have to make sure that such accusation must be credible and must be realized, and otherwise, if it's just rumors, then we will not listen to it.
On May 9, 2017, there was an official opening of Saudi Cultural Mission in Den Hague. What is the function of this office and this building?
One of the main jobs of the office here is to take care of the Saudi students who are here studying in the Netherlands and Belgium, by the way. But I think the cultural part is something of great importance to Saudi Arabia, because a lot of people think of Saudi Arabia as only a desert or as oil, but I think it has a lot of cultural things to show to the world, and especially to the Netherlands.
What is the current situation now in Saudi Arabia in terms of economy, politics, and innovation?
We have set up now a vision for Saudi Arabia that it has to reach by 2030 in terms of the economy, that we have to diversify our economy. We should not be very dependent on oil. Education, we have a lot of programs. It's a huge plan that will change Saudi Arabia, that will open up a lot of opportunities for the Saudi males and females. And it's a good opportunity for everybody, not only for the Saudis, but for our partners outside, international investors also. We are extremely hopeful that we can reach a very successful rate in this vision for the people of Saudi Arabia.
Can we hear the lesson of life from Your Excellency, Mr. Abdulaziz Abdulhamid?
Please enjoy the moment that you are in. Never think of what you are going to do tomorrow, or what you are going to do in a week or a month or a year, or how much happiness you will get if you go there or if you are around there in the future. Please enjoy your moment. Don't miss it.
Thank you so much for your advice, Mr.
Thank you very much. Appreciate your coming.
Thanks for watching Diplomat TV. For any feedback, ideas, or suggestions about our program, please email us at contact@diplomattv.com. We look forward to hearing from you. See you back next episode.